My home state, the great state of Missouri, was the very first state in the Union to pass what's referred to as the Second Amendment Preservation Law, which makes it illegal for any federal agency or any local agency to enforce anti-Second Amendment practices in the state of Missouri. Now, this has been brought to the Missouri Supreme Court, which was today, and I listened to that case. Fascinating to listen to what these attorneys are arguing. But the state of Missouri has been sued by the city of St. Louis, the county of St. Louis, and Jackson County as well, which is where Kansas City is. And that lawsuit also brought the Department of Justice, the federal Department of Justice, in to testify as well. Now, the first to testify was the attorney for St. Louis and St. Louis County and Jackson County. And ultimately what he was saying was that the problem is that it's a very unintelligible statute. What federal laws are we supposed to enforce and what federal laws are we not supposed to enforce? That it's very confusing for the police department. And that the city wants to, and I'm assuming he's talking about St. Louis because Kansas City isn't in this lawsuit. Jackson County is, but not Kansas City. So I'm assuming he's saying St. Louis when he talks about the city, that they want to enforce the Constitution, but right now they actually have an officer who's on paid leave and they don't really know what he did wrong. Therein lies kind of their big complaint. They're not, according to what they had said, their problem isn't necessarily that they don't want to protect the Second Amendment. It's that it's just very confusing, that they're really not sure how to enforce this because it's very, their biggest argument is unintelligible. Now, when the Department of Justice attorney got up, that was very fascinating because ultimately what he was saying was that already federal employees have been stopped in the state of Missouri and told to get out of the state and followed by the Missouri Highway Patrol. That it's harder for the federal government to work with crime labs because a lot of crime labs now from Missouri won't work with the Department of Justice. The Highway Patrol won't work with the Department of Justice. People are afraid to work with the federal government or, well, law enforcement agencies in Missouri, according to the Department of Justice, because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to violate this Missouri law. Now, once the defense got up, really, he was just asking to dismiss it, just dismiss this whole lawsuit. Now, we'll kind of talk about why here in a second, but I will say based on the judge's reactions when they did speak, they seem to give a lot of discredit to the Department of Justice's case. And they also gave a little bit of discredit to the St. Louis County and Jackson County's attorney, primarily because he was late on filing something to not have this case dismissed. So it may be dismissed on a technicality when it comes down to it, but I do believe they're going to dismiss it. Now, what I found out also from the attorney for the state of Missouri was right now there are 5 lawsuits in Missouri pending from Second Amendment violations from people, from federal agencies or different local jurisdictions violating Second Amendments or violating their Second Amendment rights. Now, an example they gave was really this idea that there was, the ATF went after a World War II vet in St. Louis County because he was trying to purchase some World War II relic guns. Like all these guns, they weren't modern guns. They were, World War II guns are great guns, don't get me wrong. But he was clearly just trying to buy some World War II guns, and not a lot of them, just a small collection. And somehow that got to the ATF. So before he even committed the crime, he was arrested. And that's really the biggest issue is they're saying, this is the pattern of the federal government. When it comes down to, violation of your Second Amendment rights, oftentimes it's, you lose your Second Amendment rights before you're even given due process, or before you even committed the crime at all. That's how extreme the ATF is being in the state of Missouri, and it's just an example of showing, look, this is working. It's working. So, I thought it was great to listen to it. I don't know, it may still be online. I know they have a live link where you can listen into the Missouri Supreme Court, but I don't know if they keep those recorded. Fascinating to listen to, but that was the general idea. It was a very short hearing because they had another case coming up, a bank lawsuit or something or other coming up at 3 o'clock. So, but I just wanted to get this out. It seems to be working, and essentially it looks like the Missouri Supreme Court has sent the federal Justice Department home with their tail between their legs. And I'm really glad. Oh, one last thing was the Department of Justice did bring up that there was a federal employee crossing the state of Missouri. He was pulled over by the Highway Patrol, and then that was the gentleman that he was referring to who was escorted to the state line. So, love to hear your thoughts on all this. If you have any insight in it, definitely put that below as well. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns, and as always, love God, love your family, and love God.